Hey, welcome back to Shotoku Tech. So we're continuing on in this OpenMediaVault series. First we did the install, then the configuration, and then we added user home folders. Now we're back at the Getting Started guide for OpenMediaVault, and we're going to back up our entire data disk using RSYNC. So we're signing into our OpenMediaVault console here, opening up the system panel. Now I've already plugged in my second USB disk, so you can see this dev-SDB here. And it doesn't have a file system and it's not attached. You really want to make sure you know which device you're looking at, because the next thing we're going to do is wipe that disk. So we wanted to make sure we picked the correct disk to wipe. You don't want to pick the one that has 3 terabytes of data on it. Okay, so we're wiping that dev-SDB. The empty disk. These things take time. Okay, so now we need to create a file system. Create, select the device. There's our new USB hard disk, dev-SDB. Found exactly the same Western Digital Elements 4 terabyte drive to match the other one. I'm going to label this one RSYNC so I can differentiate it from the data disk. Now, of course, creating the new file system, again, it wants to write out 29,000 of these things, so we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and you can see the creation of this file system is just about complete here. Then it has to write out the journal, and again, this will take some time. There it is, writing out the journal entries. So now we just need to mount that disk and save the configuration. So we select our newly added file system, and we're going to click on the Mount button. This particular activity just is very slow, and it doesn't have any visual indication that it's completed. I know in the first video where I was clicking on mount multiple times and got an error saying it's already mounted. So it's just, you got to be patient with this. There we go. We're getting some indication that something's happening here. I refreshed the file systems panel, and there's my prompt to apply the configuration change. So we'll go ahead and do that. And of course, applying configuration changes takes a little bit of time, so we'll be right back. Okay, so we've added this second hard drive, 4 terabyte hard drive, labeled the file system RSYNC. Now, you have to add another column to get the absolute path for the RSYNC command. If you click down on these column headings, you have a columns, and we can select mount points. Now, this mount point tells us the exact reference of these file systems, and we use these exact references of these file systems in this RSYNC command. Also be careful with this delete parameter in the RSYNC, because basically if you delete something from the original file system, it'll be deleted from the RSYNC system. So if you accidentally delete stuff from data, you're going to replicate that accidental deletion to the RSYNC, to the backup disk. I'm not going to use the delete parameter in this case. I think I'll manually sync up deletes when I've gone through and cleaned up the original file system. I have a lot of plans to do that. There's a lot of heritage, like install ISOs for Exchange 2003 and Server 2008, taking up a lot of space here. I have a lot of system backups from old computers that 10, 15 years ago that have no real meaning. So I'm opening up Notepad++ here, and I've copied that command in here. And again, we're taking out delete. That -AV is archive verbose, so we'll get some verbose logging of this archiving of the data. And now let's go look at the exact paths for these mount points so that we can make sure our command is correct. And we're going to compare that with what we're seeing here in the file system. And it is actually already correct. The only thing with this RSYNC command is you have to put a backslash at the end of these mount points. So these are the absolute paths to those file systems. So now we're going to go on to configure a scheduled task with that rsync command. Add task. So we're going to use certain date, and the day of the week is going to be Monday. And then I'm going to set the time for midnight. So first thing Monday morning, 12 o'clock midnight, the data disk is going to be backed up to the rsync disk. Okay, so we can save this task. And we have to save the configuration change, so we'll apply that and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've applied the configuration change, adding this scheduled rsync task. I'm going to go ahead and run it manually right now. And it actually opens up a window that shows me the progress of this task. Of course, there's over 2 terabytes of data on the one USB hard drive that's going to be written to the other USB hard drive. So this should take some time. We see it get started here. So a couple hours later, I've reopened the OpenMediaVault console, and you can see the rsync file system is incrementing upward slowly in the used category. So this background rsync job is still running. It's probably going to take several hours, if not most of the day, to accomplish that. I'll actually go in and disable the scheduling of that task because I don't want this to fire up Monday at midnight if it's already running still. There is this interesting tidbit that shows just how easy it is to switch the underlying shares from the data device or the data file system to the RDisk file system. So this is how you would recover if the data file system were to become corrupted. We've accomplished what we set out to do here. We've backed up our data disk using rsync to another USB hard drive attached to our OpenMediaVault server. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. Give it a like. Click up here to subscribe. Click over there to check out my Open Media playlist. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching Shitoku Tech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.